I don't know about you, but I mean, I can't help but when I watch something like that and feel like after it's done that I feel kind of changed in some way. What are your thoughts?
I have one.
Yeah.
It was very moving.
Yeah. What are some things that kind of connected for you?
Well, all my different artists coming together to make this one song.
Yeah. Let's think about that. These people travel all over the world to record and perform. I mean, think about the organization it would take to get all those people in the studio at the same time. I mean, my God, as a teacher, I find it impossible just to get my students in the same school to be in one place for a rehearsal at the same time with all they got going on. But these people came from all over. You probably, another reason I picked this video is a lot of the people you told me were your favorite musicians. A number of them were in this video.
I feel like on the video, it was a lot of different styles of music.
Yeah, what were some that you noticed?
Like there was some rap, there was like some alternative, it was all different artists.
Yeah. You know, I wondered, I think about this for a minute. You know, depending on different occasions during the day, we might dress differently. If we go to a formal event, we go to synagogue or church or some other formal event, we'll dress up. We go to a football game, we wear something else. We go to school, we wear something else. So, you know, a style has to do with what you do for a certain purpose. So it always, a big question I have is why would someone only want to listen to one style of music? I mean, that was one thing that I kind of grabbed to, that there were so many different styles in this one song. You know, what do you think that kind of says about the way a piece is structured is called its form. Think of form, the form of a piece is kind of like the ingredients in a salad, or maybe even better, the framework of a house. The form just gives you the basic outlines of what happens, okay? There's kind of two parts to this song. Let's look at the lyrics for a second. We're going to call, when you have a piece of words that are either repeated or exactly or almost exactly with the same tune, that's called a refrain. And the refrain, as you notice, in this case, contains the title of the piece. It kind of gives you the main idea of the song. Now look at the stuff that's not in boxes. There comes a time, okay, and then later it goes back to that tune, but send them their heart, okay? When you have a tune that comes back with words that are pretty much different each time, that's called a verse. So the form, if this were a house, the framework of this house is called verse-refrain, okay? Which is a type of form. You could also call it A-B, but it's a specific type of A-B form, okay? Now, that's pretty repetitive, isn't it? Look, this video was 8 minutes long, and it was made of 2 tunes. What are some things that happened during the song musically to not make it so boring?
Different artists.
Yes. Now, how were the lyrics delivered? Were they always the same number of singers at the same time? Well, what kind of things went on?
They were solos.
There were solos. Did you notice how they went from person to person? Did you figure that out? There was a pattern.
No.
Let me show you the beginning. Okay.
F4.
Watch how they go from vocalist to vocalist.
There comes a time
Okay.
when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all.
What was the pattern there in terms of the way the vocalists were used? I thought this is brilliant.
They got from higher to lower.
That's part of it.
There would be somebody, and
Yeah.
then there would be together, and then they go off one.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Think about how is that like a metaphor for what this is? Think about it. It's one person.
I never thought of
It's coming together. The whole thing's about
Yeah.
coming together. It's good.
It's like One person does something, the other person says, wow, that's neat. Then they do it, then they do something on their own. Then another person comes, and then what later happened with the chorus?
All
Yeah.
together. They're all singing.
What I want to do today is let's kind of reflect a little bit on how We Are the World as a piece of music was put together. Then after we do that, we're going to kind of use the structure of that piece as a model to create a really short little piece together as a class. And then after that, you're going to be doing something on your own, okay? The form of the piece is kind of the way it's structured. It's kind of like the framework of the house. The building blocks of the house, the little things that make the house unique, are melody and harmony. Now, I want to just discuss just the first few bars of the refrain, okay? We have this. The refrain, you can say, kind of has two building blocks, the melody and the harmony. A cell. What is a cell in your body? What is a cell? What is it and what does it do? Everybody has cells, right? Yeah, it makes up who you are, right? A cell then is a little thing that gets used a lot of times to make up something bigger, okay? There's kind of a pitch cell here. I've labeled the pitches by the name that they are in the scale. So do is the first note of the scale, mi is the third note of the scale. It actually goes below do to do, ti, la, and so. So I want you to listen. Just sing that with me. Mi, re, do, la, so. Sing that with me once. Now sing it on your own and. Okay. It's important to be able to sing things regardless of how you feel about your voice. It's kind of like working out a math problem in your head. Okay, it's the idea is you got to think in terms of the music so that you know what it is you're hearing. Okay, so I want you to. I'm just going to play the first times of the melody. I want you to tell me how many times do you hear mi, re, do. Just each time you hear it in the melody, just kind of tick it off on your fingers. I want you to do. I just played the tune several times in my head. I want you to just hear the tune in your head and see if now you can confirm how many times do you hear mi, re, do. Ready? Hear it in your head. Show me how many times on your fingers does it appear. Yeah, it actually appears in exact repetition 3 times. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones make a better day. Okay, so that whole melody is based on just 6 notes. But they're kind of used, first they use a part of it, then they do it again, then they kind of go up and down. Okay? Underneath that melody, there's a chord progression. We are the world. We are the children. The chords have a bass note. E, A, B, E. Everyone sing that? Ready? Go. E, A, B, E. Do it on your own. Ready? And. We are the world. We are the children. We are the world to make a better world. That's our giving. Okay? So the idea is you can make a really good piece with only just a few materials. Okay? You don't necessarily have to have a huge complex collection of things to make a whole big piece of music. And in fact, you already have enough tools to start creating things, okay? In fact, let's do this. Right now, we're going to compose a little piece.